Hi, I'm professional sports handicapper Ross Benjamin of rbwins.com. Time for another edition of one of my sports betting videos right here on the OSGA YouTube channel. Folks, a friendly reminder, if you haven't subscribed to our channel already, feel free to do so, I should say. Easy for me to say, as a matter of fact. Right there on the bottom right-hand corner of this video, you'll see an OSGA logo. If you hover over that, there's a subscribe button. Click on the subscribe button. It costs you absolutely nothing to subscribe. And as a matter of fact, folks, if you want to be notified immediately upon any of these future sports betting videos going up on the OSGA YouTube channel, just go into your YouTube settings and click on the notifications buttons, and that will give you the alarm whenever I put up any video on this channel. You'll be notified immediately, I should say. Anyway, to get to the meat and potatoes, we're going to do a little bit something different today. Normally, I give you a free pick in the NFL or college football or Major League Baseball. Today, that's not going to be the case. Not to say that I'm not going to continue with that process, but I'm going to take a look at these high-scoring games that have been occurring in the NFL thus far, and then also look at the correlating, escalating totals that have been occurring as well as the bookmakers continue to bump up these totals. Through the first 4 weeks of the NFL season, this has been the highest scoring first 4 weeks in NFL history. And if you look at the average combined total scores so far, there's been 63 games played in the NFL thus far, and those games have averaged a combined 51.3 points scored per game, which is awfully high by past NFL standards. Even in this modern day era of where we're seeing more 4 and 5 wides, still way up the ladder as far as average scores goes. And if you look at the totals this year, as of right now, there's been 36 overs, 22 unders, and 5 pushes thus far. And that comes out to, if you're an under bettor, you're not doing very well, because just 34% of games have gone under the total thus far in 2020, 2021. Now, even further than that, we're looking at the amount of totals we've seen that have been 50 or greater. Now, if you go back to 1983 through 2019, we've only seen an average of 13 games per season that have had a total of 50 or greater. And this year alone, we've had, counting this coming week, we will have had 24 totals of 50 or greater. And that's an average through 5 weeks of almost 5 totals per week. At this pace, we're looking at 60 games with a total of 50 or greater. And keep in mind, like I just said, the last 37 years in the NFL prior to this season, we've seen just an average of 13 games per year that had a total of 50 or better. Not only that, last week alone, there was 7 games with a total of 50 or greater, and 5 overs, 1 under, and 1 push in those 7 games. And we have another additional 7 games this week, pending any line moves, that will have a total of 50 or greater as well. So again, reverting back and putting things in perspective, over the last 37 years entering this season, we've seen just an average of 13 games per year with a total of 50 or greater. If everything holds true to form this week in terms of the lines not dipping below 50 on these 7 games, which are currently 50 or more, we would have seen 14 games alone in the last 2 weeks that have a total of 50 or greater, which already exceeds what we've seen as an average per year over the last 37 years. Just incredible numbers. Why is that occurring? Okay, there's a couple of reasons, and I'm giving you my personal opinion. These opinions may vary. You may agree, disagree, but this has been, I've looked at this hard over the last couple of weeks, and this is what I've came up with. First of all, it's COVID-19 era. Everything is not normal, including the high scores and including the high totals this year. And why has that occurred? Well, there was no NFL preseason games. So players were not put into live action where they were actually tackling people on another team. Now, they did do some live work in practice prior to the season, but as we well know, those aren't always, people aren't always going 100% in those practices when they're tackling. I mean, nobody wants to hurt another player on their team, a player on their team, I should say. So a lot of those efforts in tackling are pretty haphazard or not 100% effort, and rightfully so. You don't want to bang up your own players. It's hard enough to keep everybody healthy as it is without going in before the season starts and hurting someone on your own team. So fundamental tackling, if you look at and you view some video of the first 4 weeks of the season, has severely lacked. There's been a lot of shoddy tackling, and as a result, the offenses have been well ahead of the defenses, which is highly unusual, but that's what's been occurring, and the numbers back that up. Now, here's what to look for going forward. Again, this will make 14 totals of 50 or greater in the last 2 weeks, well above the average over the last 30 years for an entire season, and we've eclipsed that in just week 4 and week 5. As long as these games keep going over, the betting public, who generally likes to play the over anyway, they want to see both teams score. It's a lazy man's handicap. You could find value in overs. There's no two ways about it. But my point being, without being disrespectful, is there's a lot of guys who just go in blind and bet the overs without thinking about another thing, because two scoring offenses are playing each other, or they saw a plethora of games the week before going over. Then think about this, okay? The 17 games have had a total of 50 or greater already this season. 11 of them have gone over the total, 3 have gone under, and 3 have been a push. So there's been nothing to deter bettors from hesitating to go over the total when it's 50 or greater, and we're going to see the same thing this week. I would be shocked if you didn't see the general public hammering overs regardless of how high the total is. Sooner or later, folks, that's going to catch up to these bettors. And sooner or later, things will even off. The books will continue to give you totals in the 50s, and you're going to start to see some games that have a combined score in the high 40s and low 50s that stay under the total. And eventually, the defense will catch up to the offense. The fundamental tackling will return. I estimate that's going to happen probably around week 6. You may start to see a little bit of that improve in week 5. So better beware, okay? You're not getting any bargain by continuing to bet over the total. If you've been an over player so far this year, you've done awfully well, but you have to beware. These totals are escalating, and somewhere along the line, we're going to start to see things even off in a couple weeks of unders start to cash in. So just a food for thought and handicapping tip in the NFL going forward. Again, my name is Ross Benjamin of rbwins.com. I've been red hot, folks. My pay selections, which are monitored by sportscapping.com, right now, NFL and college football, a combined 24-7 over my last 31. That's right, folks. It's all documented. The numbers don't lie. You can verify exactly what my claims are. Got no reason to lie. I've been doing this a long time. I operate with the most highest degree, I should say, of honesty and integrity. Been absolutely on fire. NFL 15-5, my last 20. College football 9-2 the last 11, and that includes the last 3 Saturdays in college football. I've gone 9-1. Again, you can get my picks on a weekly basis at rbwins.com. I'll have something up for sale on Thursday in the NFL or college football, or maybe both, possibly a play on the Friday college football game. But for sure, folks, you'll see 3 to 5 selections in college football on Saturday and 3 to 5 selections in the NFL on Sunday, as well as the Monday night NFL game. That's rbwins.com, where you pay a little to make a lot. Don't forget to subscribe, and please give me a like on this video. Until the next time, I'm Ross Benjamin. Good luck and God bless.